global warming has hit a new high, exceeding 1.5 degrees Celsius for the first time in an entire year. This milestone is a wake-up call. But why is this number so critical, and what are we doing about it? Let's take a trip back to 2015. In Paris, world leaders gathered to tackle this serious issue. They signed the Paris Agreement, a mutual deal to fight climate change. 194 parties, including 193 countries and the European Union, agreed to cut greenhouse gas emissions. The Paris Agreement came into force on November 4, 2016, marking a new era in global cooperation. So, what exactly does the Paris Agreement say? Here are its key commitments. Number 1. To limit global temperature rise to well below 2 degrees Celsius, with efforts to keep it under 1.5 degrees. This target aims to prevent the most damaging impacts of climate change. Number 2. To achieve net zero emissions between 2050 and 2100. This means balancing the amount of greenhouse gases emitted with the amount absorbed by nature. Number 3. Each country sets its own emission reduction targets, reviewed every 5 years to increase ambition. Number 4. Richer countries pledge to provide climate finance to help poorer nations adapt and switch to renewable energy. Why is keeping global warming to 1.5 degrees so important? Scientists warn that every 0.1 degree increase brings greater risks, longer heat waves, more intense storms, and wildfires. At 1.5 degrees, extreme hot days would be 3 degrees warmer at mid-latitudes. At 2 degrees, it jumps to 4 degrees. Sea levels would rise by an additional 0.1 meters, exposing up to 10 million more people to frequent flooding. Since the Paris Agreement, world leaders meet annually at COP's conferences of the parties to review and enhance their climate commitments. Despite these efforts, current pledges still put us on track for around 2.1 degrees of warming by 2100. The UK, for example, committed to reducing emissions by 68% by 2030 compared to 1990 levels. However, recent delays in green policies have raised concerns about meeting these goals. The Paris Agreement also promised support for poorer countries. Developed nations committed $100 billion annually by 2020 to help them deal with climate impacts and build greener economies. Although this target was missed in 2020, recent contributions show progress. At COP28, significant strides were made, with a new fund launched to compensate for loss and damage due to climate change. Contributions from the EU, UK, US, and others totaled around $700 million. The Paris Agreement is a monumental step in the fight against climate change. While it's not perfect and there's still much work to be done, it shows what we can achieve when the world comes together. Some countries have already taken great initiatives to tackle climate change. You can watch this video to know more about it.